Everybody, it's Rekka here at Y Mermaids, and I'm here today with book haul. I was really proud of myself for a while. I was like, I don't even have enough books to do a July book haul. I only have 2. And then I went to Second & Charles, and now I have a book haul for you. So I'm calling this, though, the stocking up for my classroom library book haul, or something shorter than that because that's really long. But most of the books here I bought for my classroom library. For those of you who don't know, I am a teacher. I taught journalism for the last 4 years, but this year I'm actually switching over to English, which I'm really excited about. It's something that I wanted and asked for, and so I'm happy and I'm lucky about it, but it means that I have to build a classroom library. So I have been trying to do that through various different means. I have books that were donated to me, that are linked to me, that I've picked up Second & Charles, like books from my own bookshelf that I'm taking in. So if you have books that you don't want anymore that are good for teenagers, like 10th grade is the grade I'm teaching, then send them my way. I have a P.O. box, and if you want more information, I also have a wish list on Amazon. So if you want to donate books to my classroom library, I would love that and really appreciate it, and so would my students. But in the meantime, I did buy books for it as well because, you know, I care. I want my students to have books to pick from that are current and popular and exciting. And so anyway, let's get into the book haul. I'm going to show you the books that I didn't get for the classroom first, and then the rest of it will all just be for my classroom. We're gonna start things off with obviously the book of the month picks, because I get that every month and so I always have one. And so the book that I picked for July is Final Girls by Riley Sager, which I actually just finished the other day, and it was good. It's a thriller, so basically think of like a horror movie and how there's always like the one girl left at the end. Well, it's taking that idea and it's like these 3 final girls, and something mysterious starts to happen. It's a little bit of a thriller, and you know, some twists and turns and things like that. I also had a free book credit because someone used my code to get book of the month, so if you want to do that too, I get free books and you get books, and it's awesome, and we can all share the love of books. But I had a free book credit, so I picked up Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, which I've heard really good things about, and it's been on my TBR since I first saw it on Book of the Month. I picked something else instead and regret that decision probably, but so I really wanted to read it, so I picked it up because it was free. And why not? And this is the story about a Korean family in Japan, and if you know anything about that, there's a racial issue there, basically, with Koreans in Japan, and I just went to Japan, so, which you can watch on my vlogs. I'll link them. They're still airing, I'm sure, and anyway, so I'm kind of in the Japan mood, and so I really wanted to read it. In my Second & Charles, like, shopping spree that I went for, I bought a lot of books for school, but I also found one book that I am putting on my bookshelf, even though it could be for my students, but it is Peter and the Secret of Rundoon, which is the 3rd book in the Peter and the Starcatchers books, and I have the first 2 on my shelf. We all know I'm obsessed with Peter Pan. It's like one of my favorite stories, so I collect Peter Pan retellings. It was there. It was $6.50 for the hardcover, and so I picked it up to add it to my collection because, yeah. But if a student's like, hey, I really want to read it, I will totally bring it in for them to read, but it's gonna probably stay here with all the Peter Pan stuff that I have. And the last thing I got for me, well, there's other ones sort of for me, but the last one that's solely for me is the first 3 editions of the Sons of Ares comic book, which is Red Rising. We all know that I'm obsessed with Red Rising. I was holding off on doing this. I was like, I'm gonna wait. I asked Pierce Brown on Twitter if it was gonna be in an omnibus, like a big graphic novel, and he said yes, but it would be like 6 months or more until that happened, because he responded to me and I got really excited. So I wasn't gonna get these. I was like, no, it's fine, I don't need them. And there's no comic book store that's like really close to my house, and I was like, I don't want to have to drive like 30 minutes all the time to go pick these up. Well, then I found one that's like right by the grocery store, so, which I thank you to my sister-in-law Beth, my friend, for telling me about it, because I didn't even know that there was a comic book store there, and there was, and they had it, and so I picked up the first 3. This is one of them. I'll show you the covers because they're really pretty. This is one of them, and this is the 3rd one. So they are gorgeous. If you don't know, this is the prequel story to Red Rising. It's called Sons of Ares. It's certainly exciting, and I can't wait to read it. So, yeah, so excited. I love Pierce Brown. I love Red Rising. Alright, on to the books for my classroom library. Yay! So again, I'm teaching 10th grade, and these are all for that. And most of them are they're just YA books that are really popular, or books that I've enjoyed, or even have heard really good things about and haven't read, but want to, maybe? So anyway, let me just show you, because I'm rambling. So I picked up Feed by M.T. Anderson. It's National Book Award finalist. All about like technology and like constant streams of information and whatnot, and I thought that was really interesting. It's good like technology type story, social media, and I thought that kids would really relate to it, especially like maybe boys, potentially, question mark, question mark. And I also really want to read it, so I picked it up. It was really cheap, it was like $4, so. The great thing about Second and Charles is that I get them all used. I don't buy new books at Second and Charles, and so they're all used, and so they're all cheap-ish. So I think all of the books that I bought there, I spent maybe $60, and there's a lot of books here, so it's not that bad. I also picked up Mosquitoland by David Arnold, which I've heard a lot of good things about. A lot of people have talked about it being really good, but I have not read it. It has been on my list to potentially read. So it's a road trip story. Who doesn't love a good road trip story? Quintessential Eragon by Christopher Paolini. I've never read it. I feel like I should read it, but this was written, he was like a high schooler when he wrote it. And so it's also really good for inspiration for my creative writing class and for kids. Like, hey, somebody your age wrote this if they haven't read it already. Which I don't know if they have or not. So I decided that I should read it and they should read it, and I'm gonna put it on my shelf, plus it's dragons. It's dragons. Next up is one that I have read, but I loved it, and I feel like it's a classic and one that I should own anyway, and it's Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Saenz, which is a beautiful, beautiful story. The audiobook is read by Lin-Manuel Miranda, which is actually how I listened to it before I knew that that was him and who he was, and it was really good, it was brilliant, and so I wanted this one on my shelf because it is so good. It's a story of two boys who were best friends, and it's kind of a love story and a best friend story and a coming of age story, and it's just beautiful. One that made the rounds on BookTube a while ago that I never read is The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutkoski. Again, I never read it. It's a good dystopian fantasy type story, I think. I haven't read it, but it sounds cool, and I thought it'd be a good addition to my bookshelf. One that I own, but I'm not gonna take my version to school because it's a special edition version, is Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell, because you have to have Rainbow Rowell on your bookshelf for teens. It's like John Green. You have to have John Green and Rainbow Rowell. Actually, I don't think I have any John Green. I think it all got stolen. Anyway, you have to have John Green and Rainbow Rowell, so I am putting Eleanor Park because this is my favorite one besides Carry On, because Carry On's brilliant. But they didn't have Carry On used, so. Anyway, Eleanor Park, this was $6, $7, so it's good. I decided to add some manga to my collection because I don't own any, and I thought that'd be a good option for struggling readers or students who don't want to read a traditional book or who really like anime. So I did pick up the first 3 of Naruto. So 1, 2, and 3, the first 3 editions. That way if you read one, you can dive into the next one. And if they get through all 3, I can always go pick up the next couple ones very easily. These were, I think, $3 each. So, and there's a discount also at Second and Charles for teachers, so it's actually slightly cheaper for me. He's a ninja. I've never read it, I've never seen it, but it's popular, right? So, what's a manga collection without some Death Note? And I didn't just do 1 of Death Note, I did the first 7 of Death Note because I've read the first 3 or 4, so I wanted to keep reading basically all of these. And then there is the Netflix movie coming out, which I'm very skeptical about, like very skeptical about, but I thought that it might be something that would encourage people, students, to maybe want to pick up the book of it first before they watch the adaptation that might not be so good. So source material is good to have, and so even if they don't read it, I'm gonna read it because it's great and Death Note is awesome. So I still need the last 3, I think, but they didn't have them, so I'm working on that. Alright, and my last 3 books, 2 of them I got from Second and Charles, 1 of them I got on Amazon because they didn't have it at Second and Charles, and these are for me to teach with because I wanted other options, and so I teach Night. It's a great Holocaust story. If you've never read it, it's beautiful and haunting and terrible, and it's just a really good story. Everybody should read it. So I want to pair it with some other things. So I picked up 1 and 2 of Maos, both of them from Second and Charles, which I've actually never read and I've been meaning to read for years, like years. I Don't know why I never did, but this is normally $20 for both of them. I got them for $6 each. I was really happy to find this. And then the other thing that I got that goes along with this is actually Magneto Testament. This is the graphic novel of Magneto's story when he was in a concentration camp and in the Holocaust. And I've never read this one either, but another teacher colleague of mine recommended it, and so I decided to pick it up, and I can't wait to really go through this because I've never read it, but I think it's really interesting that it's his story. So yeah. Well, those are all the books that I bought in the month of July. Again, I only had 2 of them. I only had the Book of the Month picks until the last week, and then I went to Second and Charles twice in 1 week. It's a problem. It's a problem. I can't go there anymore. But again, most of these are for school. They're not for me, so I feel better about it. They are for the enjoyment and the learning of other people, and that's what teaching English is really all about, and I love sharing the joy of reading. It's why I have a booktube channel, and so I don't mind spending money for others' enjoyment and when it comes to that. So anyway, let me know if you have any recommendations or books that I absolutely should have on my bookshelf for students to pick from. Let me know those, and again, if you would like to donate any books, I have information in the description below, or you're welcome to just send me a message and I will give you some information as well. But so anyway, if you've read any of these, let me know, and thanks for watching. That's it for me today. I'll see you next time. You're gonna fall.